Thank you, Josephine. I thought maybe I would have given the opportunity to our CEO to just invite us to this session and say something briefly. Then I will come up if that protocol is okay with you. Thank you.
It's okay, Mr. Endera. I remain guided. Thank you. Mr. John Yuya, karibu sana, our volunteer CEO. Mr. Yuya? Mr. Yuya, he dropped off at some point. I'm not sure whether he has joined. Mr. Yuya, are you there? Okay,
Hello.
Mr. Endera. Okay,
Hello.
Mr. Yuya.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. We can hear you.
My name is John Yuya, volunteer CEO with Kiswate Digital Academy. And I would like to welcome everybody to this meeting of Monday, the 16th of February, 2026. And this is one of the series of meetings that we have been having. And mine is to appreciate your efforts. And I would also like to welcome the other principals who have not been with us, particularly the Principal of St. Mary's Burumba. I don't know whether he's with us, and the Principal of St. Mary's St. Peter's Budokomi. I know today is Monday, and Monday is especially Monday morning. Principals have assemblies, and the timing of this meeting sometimes a challenge to them. But all the same, given the importance of this meeting and the importance of the program, I would expect them to attend and delegate other responsibilities to their deputies or other teachers. Otherwise, you are most welcome. And as you know, technology is the way to go, and we have to embrace it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Yuya, yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much. And this particular time, allow me to welcome our global principal, Mr. Michael Ahendera. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Josephine. I'm Michael Ahendera, a volunteer, Kiswate Digital Academy Global Principal. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of us to this session. And indeed, I want to concur with our CEO, Bwana Yuya, that Mondays for principals is extremely a busy morning with, of course, the assemblies and the housekeeping issues in the morning. And therefore, it's a privilege to have them here immediately after that morning exercise. Really, Kiswate is a coined name from the word Kiswahili tekelezi. That is functional Kiswahili. And we did coin this acronym from a background of where the children of those of us Kenyans who had migrated to the US needed to have a medium of communication. When they come back to Kenya, they didn't have a language because having been born in the diaspora, they needed a language to communicate and link up and network with their siblings back in Kenya here. And so we started off by teaching them Kiswahili, just to enable them have, be able to communicate. Besides that, of course, we also looked at the issue of performance of Kiswahili in some schools, particularly in Nyanza. And we realized that there was a lot of impact in terms of transiting for the students to the next level, particularly when they went to the university. They did realize that Kiswahili was among the subjects that were being accounted for in terms of entry behavior in different courses. And therefore, we also thought, no, how do we then mitigate this idea of poor performance in Kiswahili within the regions of Nyanza? So that is the background of Kiswate, and we indeed moved far until now. We have transited to a full global academy. And in this academy, um, we have broadened our mission, we have broadened our vision to see then how can we transit from that humble historical background to impacting education in this country through the digital space. And therefore, we looked at different gaps within the education system. One of them being the question of missed lessons, the question of shortages of teachers in the country, the question of affordable education, the question of how do we empower our principals digitally to have management skills and improve their performance in their different stations. And so with that background, then Kiswate has come up. And so it is an idea that I will invite all of us to embrace. It is an idea that I will request all of us to partner with us so that we can make education less expensive. We can make education. We can have an alternative way of delivering the curriculum as envisaged by in the ICT policy of the Ministry of Education and also Teacher Service Commission, where they keep on saying that we need to move from the normal curriculum delivery to alternative ways of delivering this curriculum. And therefore, with that background, then I would want to invite all of us to share with us this idea, to embrace this idea, and hopefully we will get somewhere. Thank you. I think that those would be my opening remarks, Madam Josephine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu Michael Haindera, for that well-put background information that shows how Kiswate has evolved. It's not just about functional Kiswahili. Today we are talking of Kiswate also in relation to technology. Maybe tomorrow we will be talking of something else. So yeah, we are on the move. We are on the go. Thank you so much, Mwalimu. We also have Mr. Richard Bonyo. Mr. Bonyo, I don't know, are you in a position to say something? He told me he's on the road. Mr. Bonyo, apart from being also a board member at Ober Boys, he is also one of us here as Director of Project Management as a volunteer. Mr. Bonyo, can you hear me? Bonyo, can you hear me?
Yes, Josephine, I can hear you.
Yes, please.
I was on my way to Nairobi this morning. I've been forced to stop by the way so that I can attend this meeting, though very briefly.
Yes.
First and foremost, I want to say hi to everyone that is in the meeting, and particularly to the team in Ober Boys High School, which happened to be my school where I'm a board member. Ober is a school on the move, and Ober is techno-savvy. They are really on the right trajectory in terms of adopting digital systems in the school. And I want to say that the coming up of Kiswate and its innovations is a right dose for my school Ober boys. I want to believe that the team of Ober are here, and I want to pray that they follow these proceedings very keenly, especially the demonstration of our Kiswate products work. I'm heading to Nairobi, and I've forced the whole system to stop because of this meeting. After this, my brief remarks, Josephine, I'll be requesting for permission to exit because I'm on a very busy road, as you can hear from the background. Otherwise, as a project manager in Kiswate, what I do is to domesticate these products first with the government of Kenya, whereby we have written proposals to the Ministry of Education, the TSC, and various other partners, including the banks, whom we intend to partner with, especially in the matter of introducing the digital register in our schools. This register is very important, as will be shown shortly. It is able to track both attendance per lesson and attendance per day including the extracurricular activities that our children go to. This register is also able to track discipline in our children, which, as you are aware, is a nightmare in some schools. So, if you can track the child's discipline, they'll be so conscious enough to know that their behavior is being recorded and tracked. And ultimately, this may affect their digital living certificate that will be produced when they finish grade 12. So I want to say that these products are very good, and also the one for dynamic digital textbooks, which is able to bring books to the learners in the doses that they need. Secondly, these books are quite adaptive, which means that there will be no wastage of books as we are witnessing now in our schools, where the government brings books and within a short while they have been changed, new ones are coming, schools are piling up with books that can't be used. So it is a matter of time that our schools will soon be able to be techno savvy in terms of delivery of their lessons and curriculum. Last but not least, Kiswate is in the business of building the school capacities to understand how to use these products. So I want to welcome all of us to be part and parcel of this movement so that no one is left behind in terms of going digital, as Mr. Yuya has said and Mr. Andera has emphasized. So, Josephine, that's my remarks, and I want to thank you for having made this meeting possible for Ober Boys High School. Joshua Nyabenda, I know you are in the house. Yeah, Sijenyi Bernard is in the house, and many other people are in the house from Ober. Please, please, please take this meeting very seriously. Thank you so much, Josephine.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bonyo. Please, I know you will stay in the meeting, even as if you're on the road. You can still communicate to us through the chat box, even if you do not have time to say something again, but you can still communicate through the chat box.
Thank you so much. I'll do so.
Proceedings, please. Yes, and we wish you journey masses. Thank you. We also have Steve Biko, who has logged in from Kisumu. He's a fellow journalist who is based in Kisumu. He's been doing, supported us also in the media department. Steve, just take 1 minute to say something. Steve, can you hear me? Hi, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you. How are you? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning from Kenya, Steve. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Okay, my name is Steve Biko. I am a journalist practicing in Kenya, in Kisumu County. And I'm currently part of Kiswate in helping in some of the maybe connections to the schools who are still not aware of Kiswate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. We hope they'll find time to join as we proceed. So we also have James Ober, who is one of our digitization engineer. He will do for us a demonstration because Kiswate Digital Academy app, it is up and running, and he will find time to introduce himself when he'll be doing his presentation as a digitization engineer, and he will take us through the app, how we can log in, how the app works, and so he will find time. So at this particular time, just allow me now to welcome our founder, creator of Kiswate Digital Academy, who is the brain behind this innovation that we are saying that if Kenyan institutions, the Kenyan government can embrace, it is something that will impact positively in the sector of education. And that is why we are having this meeting. That is why we are here today. That is why we are talking about this innovation, because we want change with something that is going to impact positively. It is something that has been researched. It is something that, if adopted, it will bring a great change, especially in this era of technology. And so at this particular time, I want to welcome Mr. Pass Odhiambo, who has logged in all the way from Washington, D.C. Karibu sana, sir. It is your time.
Thank you so much, Josephine Sirega, the the director in charge of communications and administration I'm going to ride on the protocol that has already been established. My name is Pius Odhiambo. I'm originally from Western Kenya, but currently I work, live, and study in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. I'm the creator of Kiswahili Digital Academy, and it has taken me 11 years in the wilderness on hot summers and very cold snows to come up with these innovations. And at this particular time, ladies and gentlemen, it is 15 minutes past midnight here on, it's past midnight now. It is on a Monday morning. We have just crossed to Sunday. People are asleep. And this meeting, I would like it to end at exactly 9:30 a.m. Kenyan local time on a Monday, so that I can go to sleep and be ready for Monday. At this particular point, members of the call, allow me to share my screen and let me know on the charts if you can see my screen. Please, on the charts, say yes if you can see my screen. And I'm going to acknowledge a few of you, maybe one or two. Are you able to see my screen? Thank you, Joshua Nyabinda. Thank you, Josephine. Yeah, that means people can see my screen. At this particular juncture, before I do anything, I would like to play a short video, a video of about 5 minutes before we continue.
You don't need a second job. You just need to learn how to talk to AI.
So this is how I...
Pius Odhiambo, an international...
Again, may I know from the charts if you are able to see my screen and if you are also able to hear the sound? Please, if you are able to see the screen and able to hear the sound, please say yes. If you are not, please say no. If you are not able to hear the sound, say I can't hear the sound. I want to acknowledge a few people before I proceed. I just want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. Oh, thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, James. Okay, so at this particular point, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to play the video, and I hope you'll be taking your notes, because after the video, I'll ask a few questions.
Pius Odhiambo, an internationally recognized philanthropist based in the United States of America, wishes to announce to the general public that his organization, Kiswate, will support over 10,000 senior secondary schools in undergoing the transition from the 844 system to the competency-based education CBE system in his country of birth, the Republic of Kenya. This transformation will be powered by the Kiswate Digital Academy's arrays of technologies and will be offered completely free of charge. To register, visit www.kiswateregister.org. Shortages of teachers, missed lessons due to unplanned teacher absenteeism, and the high cost of textbooks will no longer be barriers to accessing basic education in Kenya and eventually across the continent of Africa. If you want to cut the cost of running schools, then go digital. Be Kiswated. Kenya is Kiswated. Kenya is a digital nation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pius Odhiambo. I'm originally from Kenya, but I currently work, live, and study in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. I am back with the good news that after 11 years of research, the KDA app is now ready and will be available in the major app stores on December 20th, 2025. We are now ready to launch the app and everyone is invited. The app will be free to any school in the Republic of Kenya that offers the CBE curriculum. but any service associated with the app will be charged a small fee, e.g., a smart ID, digital stroke remote teaching, and digital timetabling and dynamic digital library. The Kiswati Digital Attendance and Discipline Tracking Register is the first component of the app that will track students' attendance and discipline per lesson across all school departments, and this will be available to all schools for free. It will generate automatic students' lesson attendance and send reports, alerts to the parents whenever a student is absent from class.
The Kiswate Digital Academy, founded by Pius Odhiambo, is a groundbreaking digital platform aimed at fostering the African Renaissance in the education sector. Specifically tailored for Kenya, the Academy addresses critical challenges to the implementation of the competency-based curriculum CBC for grades 7 through 12 in both junior and secondary schools. Key issues it seeks to resolve include 1. Access to educational materials. Many students lack textbooks in certain thematic areas, and where available, these resources are often prohibitively expensive. School calendar disruptions. Unforeseen events such as illnesses, pandemics, for example, the COVID-19, school strikes, and natural disasters like floods frequently disrupt the academic calendar. 3. Data-driven decision-making. There is a notable absence of reliable online attendance and learning data, which is crucial for informed decision-making in curriculum implementation. Pius Odhiambo, the visionary behind Kiswate, is a trained science teacher and an award-winning data scientist, a philanthropist based in the Washington, D.C., United States of America. His contributions have earned him a place on the Marquis Who Is Who in America, highlighting his international recognition and impact.
Very soon, I will be retiring peacefully to start working as a social entrepreneur. Social entrepreneurship is an approach by individuals, groups, startup companies, or entrepreneurs in which they develop, fund, and implement solutions to social, cultural, or environmental issues.
The Kiswate Digital Academy is structured around 3 course components. Digital library. This will provide students and teachers with access to a vast array of digital textbooks and educational resources online, ensuring that learning materials are both accessible and affordable. 2. Learning Management System, LMS. This system will enable teachers to conduct remote lessons and allow school principals to recruit emergency or substitute teachers from a distance. It will also facilitate continuous learning for students regardless of physical location. 3. Scholarship system. This component will offer financial support to deserving students, ensuring that economic barriers do not hinder access to quality education. By leveraging these components, Kiswate Digital Academy aims to create a resilient and flexible educational environment. Students will have uninterrupted access to digital textbooks and teachers, while educators will be equipped with the tools needed for effective and remote teaching. This initiative not only addresses immediate educational challenges, but also lays the foundation for a more robust and adaptable education system in Kenya, capable of withstanding future disruptions and fostering long-term academic success.
Thank you very much, members of the call. I'm back to my presentation, and I hope you can see my screen. And this presentation is about Kiswate Digital Academy. Our motto is many schools, one digital academy, and I'm your presenter, Pius Odhiambo. We have just watched the introductory video. I want also to let members of the call know that we have a website, and our website address is www.kiswateregister.org. And we also have an app on the web, and the address for the app on the web is https://app.kiswate.org. And on the same note, I also want to let members of the call know we have the mobile version of the app on the Google Store and you just need to type Kiswate DL on the App Store, Google Store, and it will come up later. We'll see how to do that. Okay, next slide. Now, this slide is about my profile, where I went to school, what I do currently, and what I'm up to, my achievements. In the interest of time, I don't want to waste time going through this because this has been well captured in the video. And also, I would like to ask one of my digitization engineers present in the call to go to the WhatsApp group called Tier 1, sales representative, retrieve the PowerPoint slide, and then post it on Zoom chats so that members of the call can download it and look at it later. Next slide. So in this particular slide, we are talking about the structure of the app. The app consists of three components. The first component is called Kiswate Learning Management System. This is a learning management system that's specifically designed by Kiswate to take care of specific needs of public schools in Kenya. We have seen the challenges that public schools in Kenya face, which include shortages of teachers, missed lessons due to unplanned teachers' absenteeism, and high cost of textbooks. And now we are adding another one, loss of public funds, because in the last couple of days, we have just seen on the newspaper that the Ministry of Education has lost close to $1 billion due to ghost schools and ghost learners. With this particular tool, especially our digital register, it will take the hand of God for that to happen. Why? Because we are tapping the data from the primary source of the schools. And we do know the basic unit of a school is a student. There is no school without students. A school can operate without teachers for some time, even 2 weeks, when the principal is still hiring. But there's no school which can operate without students even for 1 day. Otherwise, it will not be a school. So our primary source of data that will be available to the Ministry of Education, will be available to Teacher Service Commission, will be available to sponsors, sponsors like Equity Wings to Fly, like Kiswati Scholarship Fund, will be tapped from the attendance of students. Therefore, it means if a school was closed 1 year ago, there will be no student in that school, and therefore there will be no teachers to take the attendance. And when we are doing this, this will be visible to the policymakers of the Ministry of Education headquarters in Nairobi, to staffing officers at the Teacher Service Commission, and also to sponsor, so that the sponsorship, award of scholarship, will be purely based on fee arrears and fee balances, which will be available online. Also, with this learning management system, we'll have a teacher from Kimushu Secondary School in Thika West in central Kenya, teaching a mathematics lesson at Ober Boys Secondary School without any problem at all. And when we do this, we will be reducing the teacher shortages at Ober Secondary School using another TSC employed teacher in a different school. Likewise, Ober Boys High School may have a teacher for chemistry, but this teacher is not available at Kimushu Secondary School in Thika or a school in Mombasa. The same will apply. So we are telling TSC that the shortages of teachers you are experiencing right now is a creation of the government itself. When the technology has advanced, why can't you digitize the class register? Why can't you replace the class register with tablet? So that when a class teacher at Ober Secondary School marks the register, me, the sponsor of Kiswati Scholarship Fund, I can track down the attendance of students, the academic performance of students, the fee arrears from my comfort zone in the United States without involving the teacher, without calling the principal. And by doing this, we'll be reducing the workload for teachers, we'll be reducing the workload for the principal. That is what this learning management system is all about. It has got around 5 modules. As at now, we are only able to implement 2 of the 5 modules. The remaining are still work in progress. Now, the second component of this particular app is what we call Kiswate Digital Library, and the technical name is Kiswate Dynamic Digital Library. This is the first library of its kind in the whole world. And this particular library is a special library that uses a kind of textbook that is called dynamic digital textbook. The word dynamic means it changes with time. Later in my presentation, we'll see how a dynamic digital textbook works. And the final component is Kiswati Scholarship Fund. So in component number 1 and number 2, we are going to raise money. We are going to raise a lot of money, not little money. If this thing implemented in Kenya within the 6 years time period, we'll be raising 1 trillion Kenya shillings per year. And if it is adopted in the continent of Africa, we have the capability and the potential to raise 51 trillion Kenya shillings in 1 year. And if it is adopted by the United Nations, the UNICEF, the whole world and other parts of the world where they face the same challenges, will be able to raise 131 trillion Kenya shillings in 1 year. Now, when you compare the figures I'm talking about and the budget for our country, my country of birth, the Republic of Kenya, is far much higher than the budget, which means we will be able to dictate what happens or the economic plan of the country. It is something beautiful. It is something that needed to be accepted, and it is something that need to be embraced by our schools. So once we raise that money, we are going to set aside a certain percentage to take care of the needy and vulnerable children in the schools that shall have adopted our technology. Since COVID-19, we have been giving scholarship to students, and so far we have educated 350 students. Some of them have graduated from the University of Medical Doctors as teachers, as engineers, and we have also hired some of them a digitization engineer, and one of them is here, James. And we continue to educate more. We have also launched this program in Dhika, and we are piloting it in 3 schools in readiness for a national rollout. Yeah, I think that's enough for that slide. Let me move to the next slide. Now, in this particular slide, I'm going to talk about the digital learning app. And the first component of the digital learning app is what we call Kiswate Digital Attendance and Discipline Tracking Register. The nickname for this register is called Kiswate Digital Register. So Kiswate Digital Attendance and Discipline Tracking Register is the most important component of this app because it will save public money. Can you imagine if in 1 year you're losing $1 billion? And the subsidy, free secondary schooling, was introduced by the government of the late former president of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Mwai Kibaki, may his soul rest in peace, around 23 years ago. If the public has been losing 1 billion per year, for those 23 years, we have lost around 23 billion. 23 billion is not a pocket change, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Now, a simple tool developed by Kenyan can save a country like Kenya 23 billion. Just in Kenya alone. What about if it is rolled out in the whole of Africa? 50 countries. How much will you be saving as a continent? And how much can this money do? Maybe to propel Africa to the next level, the level of data revolution era. So this register is a register developed by Kiswate, which is digital. It tracks attendance and it also tracks discipline. Later in our presentation, you will see how our engineers are going to demonstrate how it tracks attendance and how it also tracks discipline. Now, by the end of the 3 years in senior secondary school, after tracking attendance, discipline, and academic records, we are going to roll out what is called a data-driven school living certificate. School living certificates will no longer be given manual. And this is going to be the first time in Kenya where we are having a data-driven school living certificate. And also in the whole of Africa, as I speak right now, there's no school which gives a data-driven school leaving certificate. Now, this particular digital register uses a smart ID technology. A smart ID is like your ATM bank card to track attendance and discipline on a lesson basis. We no longer call the register on once a day or twice a day, but we are going to call the register for every lesson. Now we are going to track every lesson taught in our schools, every shilling spent to teach those lessons. Some teachers have argued that it will take a lot of time. Now, if it is manual, it will going to take a maximum of 3 minutes. But when we automate, it will take 0 minutes because the sensor will be detecting the smart ID when the students come into class and mark them present. You will later see in our demonstration how that is done. So this particular register will empower teachers to act as class monitors during their lessons. It will enable real-time visibility of students across the school department. I also want to say that it will make the work of deputy principal, the principal, easier because teachers will no longer be late for classes because they know they are being tracked. So when they are being tracked, it's not only the principal or the deputy principal that is seeing this. This thing is being seen by the sub-county director of education, the county director of education, the Ministry of Education, and the Teacher Service Commission, and also some sponsors for the school. So it's a very beautiful thing. It makes the work of the principal easy. It's also going to make the work of the deputy principal in charge of attendance, discipline, and what have you very easy. And one also future of this particular register is when the principal is away from school or the deputy is away from school due to unavoidable circumstances, he can still track and see that in such a class, the teacher was not there or the teacher was late. So when we implement this, when a school adopt this kind of register, we are going to call that school a smart school. When parents adopt this kind of technology, we call that kind of a parent a smart parent. When the security and support services adopt this kind of technology and put it at the school gate, such that everybody that visits the school is given a smart ID, a temporary smart ID, check in, check out. Or every student in the school, when they come to school, they check in and they check out at the gate. We call that a smart gate. When we use it at the dining hall, we call it a smart dining hall or a smart meal card. And this one will lead to wastages of food in the dining hall. We only prepare what the students like and what they need. And that's it. And when the food is not well prepared, and this tool will also empower the principal to know that there's a problem in the dining hall. Because at the end of the meal, the students will be filling a survey to tell the principal that today we didn't like the meal because there were stones in the githeri or the food was not well cooked. And because of this, the principal will see that 75% of the students were not happy about lunch today. And immediately, the principal will call a meeting with the head cook and tell the head cook that today the students have complained about the meal. Don't want to see this happening again in the next meal during dinner. And because of this intervention, which is only possible with this tool, the student will not go on rampage, burning the school, burning all the resources, the library, and whatever the school getting closed for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So the principal have to decide whether they want to continue with the manual method and have their schools backed because the students are not satisfied with the services, or they want to embrace this tool, which will empower the school administration to detect immediately on real-time basis that there's something. And therefore, the department concerned has to take responsibility for that. Now, when we do it in a dormitory, we call it a smart dormitory, or like a roll call every weekend in boarding schools. And when we do it in a bus, we call it a smart bus or a smart table. In the news, I've been seeing again and again that a bus can leave a school with the students and maybe to Mombasa for a trip. On reaching Naivasha, the bus gets an accident. The teacher who was in charge of the trip to leave documentation with the school. And therefore, when the bus gets the accident, some students are dead, others are injured. The government is calling the principal left, right, and center, the how do we call it? The parents and the board of management are calling the principal. The principal is under stress and the principal goes on hiding. And it will take between 1 to 2 days before the victims of the accident can be identified, simply because the teacher failed to leave documentation at school. This teacher who carried the documentation with him is the first casualty of the accident. Either he's in ICU or he's dead. But with this particular tool, the parent will just log in and see, oh, a bus from Ober Secondary School has got an accident in Naivasha. Was my son in the trip? He goes through the list and says, oh, no, my son was not in the trip. So no need to call the principal, call the school. Or the official of the Ministry of Education will just log in. They will be our customers. Maybe we'll charge them 1 shilling per student. And for 10 million students, we're going to raise maybe 10 million or just on that service only. And when the principal check, the Ministry of Education officials check, says, okay, these are the students who are on the trip. We have not got the details of those who have the casualty, and they are now able to inform the country and give an update of what happened, and say maybe in our next press conference, we'll be able to give details of those who have died or those who have got injured. The country, a lot of money, saving the principal and the school administration on what we call stress management. Now, students and teachers' attendance will be visible on real-time basis to employers and policymakers at both the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission. What are the advantages of this digital register? One, it will cut down the cost of running schools due to automation. Under this, we have, as a data scientist, we are estimating that any school that adopt this will be able to reduce their budget to 60%. So if the budget is like 20 million, so you'll only be spending 60% of that. The rest will be saved. And when we save this, where do you want you to spend this money? We want you to spend this money to digitize your school. We want you to spend this money to empower teachers to become digital educators. We want you to spend this money to empower students to become digital learners. I'll give you an example of an area where the schools are going to save a lot of money. Maybe there's a school with 1,000 students, and it's supposed to have like 80 teachers, but the TSC has only managed to post around 50 teachers in that particular school. There's a remainder of 30 teachers, and the principal pays this teacher maybe 20,000. So 30 teachers times 20,000, that's 600,000 in 1 month. When we multiply this into a year, we're going to be talking about 7.2 million a year. Now, when we embrace this technology and we reduce the number of BOG teachers from 30 to 20, we'll be saving the school around 67%, just in one area at the school level. At the ministry level, no-go schools, no-go students, saving the whole country 1 billion. At the TSC level, teachers will be able to teach, students will be able to appear in class on time. We will see the result of this when students are doing their exams and etc. So the Teacher Service Commission will no longer spend money to send officers to the field, because they are tracking these on real-time basis, saving them that particular expense that they spend on the officers to go to the field in the whole country. Now, it will increase efficiency. It will have reliable data and reporting for real-time informed data-driven decisions. We have had principals of schools which have got 3 sets of data. One data for TSC when they need teachers for TSC, one data for the Ministry of Education, one they need subsidy from the Ministry of Education, and another set of data for the Department of Sports and Games when they are required to pay money based on the student population in the school so that the student can participate in the sports. They give different variations of data, making the government to lose a lot of money because of this. Now, with this particular register, all these 3 entities will be pulling data from one uniform data source. There will be nothing like a school submitting population of 600 students to TSC so that they get teachers, and submitting 800 students to the Ministry of Education so that they get subsidy, and submitting a population of 300 students to the Department of Sports and Games so that they pay very little money. do this, the repercussion, the impact of this is that the common wananchi, the parent of a student who is vulnerable and from financial disadvantage background will get the same services like a privileged student who is at Alliance Boys High School, whose parent can virtually afford everything for him. Now, an example of given the 210 sub-county directors and 47 directors of education about the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission of Kenya will just need access to our dashboard to track attendance records in any school in Kenya. No more writing of emails or memos to principal. So far, we have approval from 13 school boards of senior secondary schools. It takes a lot of time for the principal, the deputy principal, to collect data for the school attendance data. We want teachers, the class teachers, we want the deputy principals and the principal to focus their energy on other important aspects of school management, to collect data be forwarding to their seniors. We want their senior to log on to our dashboard. Later, we'll show you how our dashboard looks like and what they will be able to track without manual intervention. So our prayer to the Ministry of Education is to give Kiswati the authority to roll out this digital register to senior secondary schools in Kenya, starting with the admission of grade 10 students in senior secondary school in January 2026. When we started, we thought that we need approval from the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission to roll out this thing because they are our development partners. We want to work with them. We later realized that there's a competitor in the field called Zeraki, which is charging and is delivering very inferior services compared to the services that we intend to deliver. They don't have remote teaching. They don't have a solution for shortages of teachers. They don't have a solution for missed lessons. They are only analyzing the financial data. A lot of money, much more than what we are going to charge. And when we checked with the Ministry of Education, we checked with the Teacher Service Commission, we realized that the two arms of government do not even know the existence of Zeraki. And I came to a conclusion that we do not even need permission for the Ministry of Education. We do not even need permission from TSC because we can simply go private and we deal with these schools like just a service provider. As an individual service provider, the same way we'll have somebody offering tenders for uniform, tenders for food, etc., stuff like that. But we want to go legal. We want to be recognized by the government. We want to be recognized by Teacher Service Commission so that everything we do is anchored in law, is supported by the education policies so that we all move together. Kenya is for all of us, and anything good that will lead to a transformation of this magnitude, it is for all of us and not just the lucky few. So we move on. In this particular slide, I'm talking about digital stroke remote teaching and learning. So this is a type of teaching where teaching and learning take place remotely. Both educators and learners are connected through Kiswati Digital Academy app. And excuse me, please, I'll be back in a few seconds. So I'm sorry for that, I'm back. Now, we'll use artificial intelligence to generate lesson plans, mark sheets, and answer keys for teachers. And that's the link for app. Later, we'll see how that is done. We are also going to have a national transmission center for remote lessons for STEM subjects pathway. And we are talking about English, literature, Kiswahili, Fasihi, commerce, essential maths. Those are physics, chemistry, biology, computer studies, electricity, metalwork, and woodwork, among others. Now, what are the advantages of this? Digital teaching and learning will offer an effective solution to challenges of teacher shortages and unexpected or unplanned teachers' absenteeism. Like right now, from my base in Washington, D.C., and I have people logging in from different parts of Kenya. I have Southern Nyanza, I have Thika, I have Central Nyanza. I've seen Ambira High School there. We have Nairobi and what have you. Now imagine each one of you is representing a class or comprising maybe of 50 students from those geographical locations. And I'm one person, I'm a teacher, I'm based in Washington, D.C. I will be able to teach in 10 schools at the same time. And when this happens, I'm going to reduce teachers' shortages by that magnitude. One teacher is teaching instead of having 10 teachers. And when we do this, we are going to save the country a lot of money. We are not doing this because we want to render the board of management teachers jobless, but we are doing this because the country can't afford. The police can't afford. It's not in debt. We want them to create a balance. If the TC has given you 30 teachers and you have a shortage of 40 teachers, and you only recruit 20 teachers, BOM teachers, which you can afford to pay on time, and the remaining 20 use technology. Use technology to do that. And that is what I do as a data scientist. When I'm hired by an organization like the World Bank, the energy companies, or school districts, I study their data for the last 10 years. And then come up with the data-driven initiative to bring them back to profit. And once that happens, I hand over the organizations back to their boards of management. This is exactly what I'm doing to public schools in Kenya for free. Because when I do this here where I live or where I work, I'm paid a lot of money as a consultant. But I'm doing this consultancy for my country, but free of charge. I'm not charging any money. But the people that are going to work with me, the equipments that the school's going to use, like tablets, like computers, like laptops, they will have to be paid for, because as an individual, I do not have the ability to sponsor 10,000 schools get those equipment. However, those schools that are very needy, or the pioneers that will get into this program too early, we are talking to the Ministry of Education, we are talking to TSC, we are talking to banks, we are talking to international organizations to sponsor them. And in one of our strong proposals that we have taken to the Ministry of Education, we are asking them to give pioneer schools a lab comprising of 50 computers, each teacher with a laptop, offer free training, stuff like that. Now, our prayer to the Ministry of Education on this is that we want them to set up one national transmission center and 12 regional transmission centers for Kiswate. When we talk about 12 regional transmission centers, we are talking about the former provinces or the former regions as per the current administration, as per the current government in Kenya. And one of those regional centers, we have Central Nyanza, and then we have Southern Nyanza. In Southern Nyanza, we are shopping for schools which can adopt this technology very fast, have their teachers trained, have their students trained, and have them a host school. And when it becomes a host school, the advantage is there are going to be a lot of equipments that our development partners that we are talking to right now, if our proposal goes through, will come to the school. And when this happens, the school is going to be able to generate some income for its activities. For example, Ober Secondary School in Southern Nyanza decide to adopt this technology, and we decide to make Ober Secondary School a host school. What will happen is this. We will have teachers from Ober Secondary School teaching 10,000 secondary schools in 47 counties throughout Kenya. Where will they be teaching? They will be teaching in schools which have got shortages of teachers in mathematics, in chemistry, in physics. And these schools will be paying some money to Kiswate. When they paying money, or the government will be paying for them some money to Kiswate. And when the government pays for them some money to Kiswate, we will leave a percentage of this money at Ober Secondary School, because they have hosted our regional transmission center. We have used their teachers to teach, to reduce teacher shortages in other schools within the Republic of Kenya. And facilities will be set by the government, will be set by the TSC, will be set by our development partners like the banks, will be set by the international organization we are talking to, like the UN, like the UNICEF, etc. Now, Kiswati will manage the center to offer an alternative remote teachers to schools that cannot afford to hire BOM employee teachers. The center will comprise of 3 classes for grade 10, 10, 11, and 12 in a senior secondary school, giving a total of 3 digital classrooms with 1 digital teacher per subject, teaching students in over 10,000 senior secondary school at the same time across all the 47 counties in Kenya. In a layman's language, Ober High School, Ober Boys High School will host what we call a TV station like KTN, like ABC, like Nation, like Citizen TV, that this TV station was, than even those TV stations I'm talking about, will be their responsibility to broadcast lessons throughout the country. And therefore, when you get into the TV station, I'm not a journalist, but let me just imitate what journalists do. Imitate what journalists do. This is Kiswate Digital Academy TV at Ober Boys High School. My name is Joshua Nyabinda, and I'm the digital educator for physics. Welcome to my class, and thank you very much. And once the name of Ober High School appear, is broadcasted in the whole country, what will happen? Ober High School will be a hot cake in the whole country. Children would like to come to Ober High School, the school that is broadcasting lessons throughout the country. Now, another thing is this. We are going to influence the policies at the government level. We are looking for politicians to sponsor in the next general election. And what will be their responsibility? They go to parliament and pass what we call digitization bill. And what does the digitization bill say? Digitization bill will says that, by Kiswate says that, we do not want to restrict the admission of students at a school such as Ober High School to be restricted to physical admission. Apart from the 2,000 students that are already at Ober Boys High School, we want the government to allow Ober Boys High School to admit students virtually from all over the country, so that we can have students from Mombasa learning at Ober High School. We can have students from Kakamega learning at Ober High School. We can have students from Rift Valley learning at Ober High School virtually, so that the admission for Ober High School can comprise of 2,000 students and 8,000 more virtual students. We open the education to the whole world. The education system is considered in a high regard in other parts of the world. And we have people, around 3 million Kenyans, who are based in diaspora, who would like their students to go through the Kenyan education system. Geographical location, their geographical location, and the expenses involved in relocating their students back to Kenya, they cannot achieve this dream. Now, when we have a school like Ober Boys High School, admitting virtual students from all over the world, students from diaspora, them. And when that happens, there's going to be an interaction that can even lead to some of the students, some of the teachers relocating outside the country. This is what we need. And the government of Kenya has done well in this regard, because as we speak right now, we have the Open University of Kenya, which is 100% virtual and is sponsored by the government. I was privileged to be a member of the technical committee that established the Open University of Kenya. And we do think that if such a bill can go to parliament, the government will have no reservation at all from making the schools both digital and physical. So that's enough for that slide. Let me move to the last module, and this is Kiswate Dynamic Digital Library. So this is the first dynamic digital library of its kind in the whole world. Even America is a very developed country. We don't have this kind of library. It uses the concept of dynamic digital textbook. invented by a Kenyan teacher and data scientist, that's me, who is based in Washington, D.C. The book will be sold complete with the TSC registered digital teachers to assist the student when the traditional classroom teacher at school is not available, like on weekends, during preps, and during school holidays. It will reduce the cost of textbooks in Kenya to approximately 150 shillings. That's $1 per textbook per student, without compromising the revenues from the publishers. A demo is coming up soon. What is our prayer to the Ministry of Education? Provide Kiswahili with the digital copies of the textbook for conversion to dynamic mode that will allow Kiswahili to use artificial intelligence to make it cheaper for parents. Kiswahili Scholarship Fund. So since COVID-19, the year 2020, Kiswahili has offered over 350 scholarships to high school students. Kiswahili intends to use part of the revenue raised in the KDO project to offer scholarship to needy and vulnerable students in any school that will adopt the use of the KDA technology. Now, do we want the principals to do? What is the role of school principals in this project? We want the principal to provide leadership and approve implementation within the school. We want them to ensure compliance with the Ministry of Education, TSC, and data protection policies from the Data Protection Commission of Kenya. Now, ensure compliance, talking about the oversee rollout, coordination, and system adoption. We want them also to facilitate teacher training and change management. We want them to monitor attendance, discipline, and lesson delivery using real-time dashboards. So on the next slide, the roles of principal continues. We want them to engage boards of management, parents, and education authorities. We want them to provide feedback to improve the system during the pilot phase, which is going to take 6 years. We're going to take one group, the current grade 10 group, up to 12th grade. Then we're going to identify challenges. After identifying those challenges, we will talk about, call a conference and talk about how do you address these particular challenges. And then go and take another group up to grade 10. And then when that happens, we'll commercial the idea and roll it to the continent of Africa, other parts of the world. Now, and this is something very good, because when I walk in the streets of Washington, D.C., and they hear me speaking Swahili, and I tell them, where do you come from? I come from Kenya. When they hear about Kenya, this is what they tell me. One, they think of me as a Maasai, because the Maasai community has attracted a lot of tourists to the country. Now, if they don't think about me as a Maasai, the second thing, they will think about me as mobile money, M-Pesa, because Kenya was the first country in the world to embrace digital money. Even the developed countries like America, they embrace digital money after learning from Kenya. To add another feather, we want to add another feather using this project to our beloved country called Kenya. So ensure that scholarships are awarded to genuinely needy and deserving students under the Kiswahili Scholarship Program. We want the principal to adopt the innovation to ensure that all key stakeholders in the education sector benefit from it. Now, how does Kiswahili Arrays of Technologies eliminate teacher shortages? Kiswahili Digital Academy app has a component of live digital teaching platform where one qualified teacher can teach students in many schools simultaneously. This reduces the need for every school to have a full set of subject teachers. Schools with shortages can access these teachers instantly, and the teacher deployment is no longer limited by geographical location. Existing TSC teachers act as assistant, supervising teachers in classroom during digital lessons, where they manage attendance, discipline, safety, and learner support. Let's say we are transmitting physics, and there's a teacher in the staff room who does not teach physics and is free when physics is being transmitted, maybe from a different location. We want this teacher to go and sit in the classroom for physics lessons to support, to assist the teacher on the screen teaching physics. This teacher is doing this. We are having a discussion with TSC, with the Ministry of Education. This teacher need to be given a technology allowance, the same way we give allowance to teachers teaching in hardship areas. So next slide. How does this technology eliminate missed lessons due to unplanned teachers' absenteeism? Continuity of learning despite absence, real-time teacher attendance tracking. It increases accountability, transparency, early alert, and escalation if a teacher fails to log in for the lesson, and the principal will be able to switch the class from analog mode, from the traditional instruction through what we are calling virtual or digital instruction. In fact, we are giving out a timetable, and for us to eliminate the teacher shortages, all schools will have to teach using the same timetable, or we can put them in groups. Like when you go to Facebook, you can form your own group, and when you form your own group, you can do your own thing there. We are asking schools to form groups. We can have groups such as, let's say, the county of Homa Bay forming a group to adopt this technology. And therefore, all senior secondary schools in the county of Homa Bay will use this technology and use the same timetable. This happens. We have a teacher from school A in Homa Bay County and a teacher from school B in Homa Bay County, switching over the responsibility. School A lacks a physics teacher, will be able to teach in school B. In school B lacks a chemistry teacher, the chemistry teacher will be able to teach in school A using our technology. And when we do that kind of swap, there will be no expense at all in hiring of the teachers. And if there is any, it will just be an allowance given to these teachers by the Teachers Service Commission, which will not be as much as maintaining a full board of management teacher on the school timetable. Now, course of textbook. This is through the use of dynamic digital textbooks, which includes recorded lesson explanation by qualified teachers and involve exercise and assignments. This reduces the cost of textbooks by eliminating repeated printing costs, chapter by chapter access. One digital textbook serves many learners, lower distribution and storage costs, and easy updates without new purchases. Now, what do we want the principals to do? We want the principal to embrace KDA innovation in their schools and replace the class register with a tablet. Each class in the school, if Ober Boys High School has got 15 classes, we want them to buy 15 tablets and replace the class register with those particular tablets so that they can go on the App Store and download our app for free. It is open source and free to all schools in Kenya that is offering the CBC curriculum. Why? Because Kenya is my country of birth. I came to America when I was already a graduate, ready to, my teacher ready to teach math and physics. Therefore, everything I do, I must remember my country of birth, where I came from. I did not, I had an option of just a different country, but I deliberately decided to choose my country of birth because in my history, wherever I do, wherever I go, whatever achievement I see, Kenya will ever remain in my history. For example, recently, because of my charity work in Kenya, I was honored by the American people through the biographical organization called Q's Who Is Who in America. And I'm 2 steps behind Barack Obama, Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, the Wright brother who invented the airplane. When you look at those people, they are billionaires in terms of dollars. I'm not a billionaire in terms of dollars, but my ideas are worth billions of shillings. Now, if my country of birth, through the principles, and adopt this technology, in 60 years' time, I have 10,000 secondary schools becoming digital. Those schools becoming developed like the schools we have here in America. I'll be promoted, and I'm going to be a featured listee to accuse who is who in America. The same level with Barack Obama, the same level with Hillary Clinton. It happens. It is something very nice and very good for my country of birth. Why? Because they have put my biography in their database, and my biography is going to stay there for life. Even if I die right now, 200 years from now, people will be reading about Kiswate. They will be reading about me. They will be reading about Kiswate Digital Academy. And when who is reading? Who is having access to this organization, to this particular profile? 1.4 million organizations in the world that promote what we call any project that will lead to improvement of life or improvement of humanity. So we'll have people calling from nowhere at random to schools to talk to the principals because of that exposure and say, oh, I like your school. I'm from such and such a country. I would like to visit your school. And when I come, please can you give me 100 students to sponsor or to pay their school fees, things like that. Now, we want the principal also to invite Kiswate engineers to install the digital register, which is open source, in each of those tablets. Now, we also, the next question is, how will schools benefit, there's a spelling mistake there, benefit from this initiative? So since the lessons are standardized and centrally delivered, students in remote and urban schools will receive the same quality of teaching. A student at Alliance High School, a privileged school, will receive the same material, the same quality of lesson like a student at Liro Secondary School near my village in Western Kenya. Kiswate Innovation ensures that every school, regardless of location, has got access to quality teachers and interrupted learning. Schools will save money due to automation of services, remove spending on BOM teachers, while students will receive quality and consistent teaching. How does the project reward principals at individual level? Principals will no longer struggle to find teachers for hard to get subjects like maths, physics, and chemistry. Principals are tier 2 sales representatives and are given 10% for every sales made, including their schools. Our principal is also able to manage and oversee school operations remotely when they're away from the school. Now, recently, I saw ghost learners and schools on news, and they were talking about the government losing around 1 billion, and for 23 years, we have been having government services that translate to almost 1 billion. This will not happen, and that is a screenshot from the news. Now, before we go to questions and answers, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite my co-presenters. One is Madam Betty Kobe from Nile Road Special Secondary School in Nairobi, Kenya, to make her presentation. Madam, if you are there, please go ahead and make your presentation. Madam Betty Kobe from Nile Road Special Secondary School. Are you there?
Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, I have to rush to class. Maybe I'll make my presentations when I come back. I have a lesson right now.
Okay, so you're coming back after how long?
After 40 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we'll wait for you. Okay, we're gonna swap at this particular time. I want to invite one of our digitization engineers to make a presentation on how to access the app and how to use the app as a student. What are the features? Well, as a teacher, what are the features? As as what? As a policymaker, and also as a parent. So, Engineer James Oduor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So you're gonna do as a student, as a parent. Then I'll come back, do as a teacher, and as a policymaker. Policymaker means sub-county director of education. So please go ahead and show us how to download the app and how we can use the app as a student and how we can use the app also as a parent. I hope you have your dummy login credentials.
Yeah.
Okay, please share your screen and take us through that.
Okay. So since I have joined
Introduce yourself, please. Introduce yourself.
Okay.
What's your relationship with the Kiswate and what do you do for Kiswate? And for how long have you been with the Kiswate? And where did you go to school? Maybe your principal is here. And I see some of the journalists also here. You never know. Yeah, they need that information.
Okay. My name is James Oduor.
We can't see your face, please. We can't see your face.
Yes. Okay, can you now see my face?
Yes, we can see your face and we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. My name is James Oduor, the digitization engineer for Kiswate. Yeah, I went to Kisumu Boys High School, and currently I'm at the Multimedia University of Kenya, pursuing my Bachelor's of Commerce. So today I'd like to take you through the KDA app known as the Kiswate Digital Learning App. So I'd like to share my screen. Since I'm using a laptop, I will log in through the Kiswate website, the Kiswate register. So this is our official website, the Kiswate Digital Register. So you go to the search bar and search for Kiswate Digital Register. Then you click the first. So here you can see the taskbar above here on the homepage. So we come here to Digital Academy, click on it. Okay, the Digital Academy, as you have seen there, it is pathed with the Kiswate app, the Kiswate Digital Learning app. And here you come here to the landing page. This is the landing page for the app. Yeah, for those people who are using what? The web. So from there, we will come to the dashboard over here. So let me sign out and let me now join as a student. So for me, I had already saved the login credentials for the student portal. So since I had saved them, so I just come here, I just click at the data that I had saved, the credentials, and then I log in as a student. Can everyone see my screen up to there?
Yes, I can see your screen.
So under the student here, under the student portal, you can see that there's some dummy data credentials that have been keyed in. So for example, you can see Grace Mudhoni is a student, and the parent is Patrick Bachira. So this is the student portal. As you can see, you can see an icon there for weeks, this week. For example, this is a new week we're starting. The subjects, the attendance is out of 7. 7 means the number of days. Yeah, and lastly, you can see lastly you can see assignment due, and you can see the number of weeks, the Monday to Sunday. And over down here, you can see the timetable. Let me first, there's something I've done, Dogo too. Let me stop sharing my screen, then I share again. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Over there, where it's written Grace Mudhoni, that icon, you can see the parents' details, the parents' name, and the contact. So this information will always relay to the parent whenever his son or daughter or her daughter attends classes over there. This is the student's portal. So whenever, even when the parent has the credential for the student, he can be able to track the attendance of the student. Yeah, whether the students attends classes or not, whether the student, if he or she has been given homework, if he does it or does not do it. So you can come here to the school management. Over here you can see assignments and announcements. So maybe there's a mistake over there. The system is being worked on. This page is being worked on because it's not loading. Maybe it's a 443 error. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, James. I'll take the one of the teacher, and then I will come back. Or maybe Madam Josephine Srega can come in for the role of the parent. Thank you very much. Stay on standby. Let me now take them through as a teacher. So please stop sharing. So I'll share my screen, and I hope you are able to see my screen. There's this slide that, yes, I've removed it, and I promised to share the slide. I asked one of my engineers to share the slide, but I don't know whether he has shared. Just to be sure, let me do it so that you can have the privilege to download it. So my slide today was presentation, and it was about principles. Okay, I'll share the slides on the charts. Please take your time to download so that you have a local copies with you. Okay, so as you do that, please, members of the call, allow me to share my screen. So I hope you can see my screen. And here, I'm gonna show you first, if you have a phone. If you have a phone and you want to download our app from the Google Store, what do? You go to Google like this, www.google.com, like that. So I'm already on Google, and then you type Kiswate DL like that, download, like here, Kiswate DL download. It gives you this. And when you arrive here, it will give you some options. And in those options, we have Kiswate DL download. I don't know, Kiswate DL download. I'm not seeing the option I want. Let me click show all. Okay, let me go to the Google Play. And when I go to the Google Play, so let me search it from here. Kiswate DL. And when I search, yes, here it is. So you see from here, there's the Kiswate logo here. This is what you do on your phone when you want to download it on your phone. You go to Google Play, and then you search Kiswate DL, and this will come up. And when it comes up, you click on it. And when you click on it, this appears. You look at this, Kiswate Digital Academy, and install on more devices. I've already installed it. So if it is your first time, you're gonna click this and install it on your phone. You install it on your phone. Now, because I'm using a laptop, Or if you don't want to download it on your phone, what you do, you just go to our website, which is kiswateregister.org, like that. And when you are on our website, you click on the Digital Academy. And when you click on the Digital Academy, this appears, and you're supposed to have login. Like now, I'm not, yes, you click on these dots, those three dots, and it will give you login. When you click on login, and it will give you place to enter your username, which is your email, and then password. So I'm going to use the data. This is real data from Nile Road Special Secondary School, one of our implementing stations where Madam Betty Kobe comes from. And our policy is a teacher cannot miss a class. That is why we had to excuse Madam Betty Kobe to go back to teach and then come back. A teacher cannot miss a class. And if a teacher misses a class due to unavoidable circumstances, the principal must switch the class from the analog mode to virtual mode. And when that happens, a teacher from Mombasa will come and teach. We can even get a mentor for the students, because when a teacher misses a class and maybe disappears from school, the principal is trying to call the teacher Mteja, and when the teacher appears after 2 weeks, the teacher comes with documentation that even the principal cannot interdict him. No right to TSC, he is protected by law. But now the question is, my dear principal, what about me, the parent, whose child has not been taught for 2 weeks? This is where the technology comes in to bridge the gap. Switch on the classroom to virtual mode, and let us hire a teacher, a temporary teacher from Mombasa, to come and teach this student for that day that the teacher is absent. And these teachers will be readily available online. And if you subscribe to our services for 1 year, it will be far much cheaper. Far much cheaper. Later we look at the rates of hiring or of subscribing for our services for 1 year. I'm also going to share the brochure for those rates with you here in the meeting so that you can download them. So this is my name. This is my login. This teacher is a teacher at Nile Road Special School. He teaches maths and physics. I've been paired with this teacher to mentor him from Washington, D.C. And at some point, I'll be expected to log into the class and maybe teach those students that are failing mathematics, that are having E and D minus grades, so that I help the teacher, so that I empower the teacher to make sure that we eliminate those kind of grades in mathematics. Now, so I don't want to show my password. I've already put my password. So I just log in. And when I log in, this is the name of the teacher. And you can see this is the name of the teacher. This is the name of the school in Nairobi. And this is the dashboard. And when you look at the dashboard for the teacher, today's lesson is a Monday. This week's lessons, he has 5. In his classes, he has got 3 discipline issues, and he has given 0 assignment. This data, the principal is seeing it. The HOD is seeing it. The sub-county director of education, the ministry of education is seeing it. The sub-county director at TS is also seeing it. County director is also seeing it for the TSC, for the Ministry of Education. The parent is also seeing it. The sponsor is also seeing it. There is nowhere this teacher is going to hide. It is only the principal that is going to be putting pressure on this teacher to give assignments or go to class, even the parent. It is transparent, and we ask the teacher. Now, today is the first day of the day of the week. We check there's no assignment given in this class. This lesson was from 8 to 8:40. Now on Friday, we are going to check again. And we realize the teacher did not give any assignment. Now the question will be asking the teacher, are you really interested in your job? Students have got no assignments. You want students to learn without them confirming to you that some learning took place, without giving assignments. And maybe at this particular point, it's not the principal asking, it's the parent asking the teacher, And when the parent is asking the teacher, the principal's job, the class teacher's job has been made easier. It has been reduced by a third. It has been reduced by 50%. Because there is another stakeholder who is on the neck of the teacher. We want taxpayers' money to be accounted for. We want to track lessons that are being taught, teaching them, and the amount of shillings that is being spent to teach those lessons. We're talking about the amount of shillings being spent to teach those lessons. We want to compute that on there are 166 days in a year. So these are 166 days. Teachers are supposed to teach for maybe 300 days. So those 300 days, Mr. Odhiambo, the physics teacher at Nile Road Secondary School, only taught for 200 days. He missed 100 days. His salary per year was $500,000. 2/3. 200 over 300 is 67%. 67% of 500 million. We did not see the value for it. Can this teacher account for this? And how do we ask the teacher to account for that time? We want the teacher to account for that time when he goes for promotion. We want the teacher to account for that time when the results are being announced. That is how important and how powerful this tool is. Now let's move on. Now I'm here, I'm a sponsor in the United States. I'm sponsoring around 300 students in Kenya in different schools, and I want to check whether the student has been coming to class. So the teacher will go in. It's Monday, February 16th. This lesson was from 8:40 to 9:20. As far as I'm concerned, maybe it is past 9:20 or the lesson is in progress. And the register is supposed to be marked within 15 minutes when the class started. And after 15 minutes, if the first lesson is going to send alert to the parent. And when the parent receives the alert, he's going to call the student because he left for work very early and left the student at home. And when this particular parent called the student, oh, daddy, mommy, I've received an information from school that you are not in school. What is happening? I'm having headache. I'm still at home, I'm sleeping. Then the parent convinces the student to take Piriton, which are available on the table there, on the wardrobe there, and the student should go to school. Now the student say, oh, thank you, mommy, I'll do that. And then the student leaves for school, arrives maybe during the third lesson or during the fourth lesson. When the students arrive at school, my dear principals, my dear teachers, don't punish the student. Don't send this student away. This is what we want. This is the objective of this particular tool. We want the student to come to school, even if the student is late, so that he sits in class. Even if he's not able to understand what is being taught, let him or her be in class. The reason being that where I live in the United States, research has shown that if we can mobilize students, teachers, and principals to have perfect attendance at school, then any other problem that our schools face in Kenya, face in Africa, will just fall in place on their own. We will not need to take any other action because there is perfect attendance. And we are asking the Ministry of Education, we are asking the TSC, we are asking the World Bank that can we celebrate perfect attendance? Can we have that teacher with the highest percentage of attendance in the school and then recognize, promote, reward, and celebrate that particular teacher at the end of the year or in the mid-year, the same way we used to celebrate KCSE exams when they used to be published, so that when we have a teacher from a school, let's say Ober Boys High School, that has got 95% perfect attendance, from Kiswate, we just surprised this teacher with a small car worth 3 million. We are celebrating your perfect attendance. You have done so well. You are in school throughout. The same to the student. If the student is having perfect attendance, why can we waive the school fees for this particular student? And the same to the principal, the same to the teachers. and the same to support members of staff. And we are going to do this using a type of technology called Smart ID. And when we do this, we'll be training the students, we'll be training the teachers, we'll be training the principals via what we call work in ethics in the international arena. You may retire at 60 years and you never know. You can get another job in the international arena. Here, outside here, when we go to our places of work, we are always having a Smart ID on our neck. We are always checking in at the door, at the gate. And if you are late for 5 minutes, you are not paid for those 5 minutes. That is the work culture here. This is why these countries are developed. etc. So I'll come here. This is the register. I want to mark the register. A mathematics lesson, Form 3 North at Nile Road. This is real. This is not fake. This is real data. Click here, mark, register. And when I click there, it will list the names of the students in that class. You can see I have Delvin Wangoi, we have Abigail Mudoni, we have Anna Njeri, we have JC Hope, we have Shekina Wangari. These are real students in Form 3 North at Nile Road Secondary School. Now, as you can see, we have things like P, ET, UT, EA, UA. There's another one that's going to be here called S, and there's another one here that's going to be called E, EX. Now, what do these symbols mean? These symbols, this is their meaning. When you check at the summary, I hope all of you can see the summary, status summary. P means present. As at now, I will not mark the register. You see present is 0. Excuse tardy. Tardy is an American English that means late. It means the student was late to class, but he had a reason why he was late. Then an excuse tardy. It means the student was late to class and he did not have a reason why he was late to class. Now, excuse absence. It means the student was absent from school and there was a valid reason, or was absent from school with a permission. Now, an excuse absence, it means the student was absent from class and there was no reason why he was absent. There was no permission. And then when you come here, IB, it means inappropriate behavior. Inappropriate behavior means when I'm teaching in class and the students disrupt the class by making noise, log in it here. Later we'll show how this is used. So these abbreviations here, please don't worry. We have their meanings here. This is why we are asking the TSC to train all the teachers, to sponsor the training of all 500,000 teachers in the Republic of Kenya if they decide to adopt this register. So teachers will be trained during the training, during school holidays. They'll be paid according to their job groups. They will be facilitated. Everything will be done as per the employer's requirements and needs. Right now, I'm recruiting teachers to train for free. Why am I doing this? Because when that proposal goes through, and we have no competitor, we will have teachers to train their fellow teachers throughout the country. So the people we are training right now are going to be the trainer of trainers. That is why we are asking schools to send in teachers. We have a class that started a week ago. We are still at the meeting. And we want teachers to come. And it's only on weekend for 2 hours. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me as a maths teacher at Nile Road Secondary School in Nairobi to mark this register. So Windrose Njeri, let me start from the top. Windrose Njeri is present. Mary Njoki is present. Lucy Njeri is absent, but with permission. I'm going to just mark at random. Yvonne Kerubo is absent and without permission. Michael Njeri is present. Emily Kagea is present. This one is present. I'm marking it manually. There's a way how you mark it automatically where it doesn't take a lot of time. It takes at most 1 minute when you mark it automatically, or 0 minutes. So right now I'm just marking it manually like this, this one absent, 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 present, 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 absent, 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 absent. This one, I'm calling the register. I'm disrupting the class. I'll come here, making him present, and then come here, enter inappropriate behavior, discussing inappropriate behavior, making noise in class. Noise in class. What do you recommend as a teacher? Here, I'll say that this one is other. And when I come here, it's not a major, it's a minor. And action taken, the student apologized. And promised not to make noise again. Okay, and now I save the incident. There's a spelling mistake there, don't worry about that. Then I come here, that. I'm still marking the register. Like that. These ones arrived late in class. There was a reason. This one did not have a reason. This one did not have a reason. Present. And then this one is present, and this one is having an incident, eating in class. So that's a minor. What action is taken? Student corrected and stopped eating. Then I save the incident. And this is the last. And then when you come here, when it is smart attendance, it will be automatic. Everybody will mark present, and you only uncheck those who are absent or who are late. So it takes less time. And when it is automated again, the smart ID will be read using a sensor. So in class, the teacher will not have to do anything. The attendance will be automatic. And then when I save attendance right now, ladies and gentlemen and members of the call, I want you now to check the summary, the dashboard for attendance in this class for this particular day. When you scroll up, you will see that the summary here now, we are having, I hope everybody can see, you are seeing present is 33, excuse study is 6, and excuse study is 3, excuse absence is 6, and excuse absence is 2. And then this will update here in terms of percentages. And will you do this from the first day when the student was entered the school gate, because he will check in at the school gate using the smart ID, and the last day when the student will be done with national exams and has cleared grade 12. So we'll pull the inappropriate behavior, the academic record, the attendance records, the talent games, and what have you, and come up with what we call data-driven school leaving certificate. Now, immediately I save this dashboard here. Is this attendance being marked either by the teacher, or it is being marked by the teacher? Now, the principal will be seeing this. A lot will be going to the principal. Maybe the principal is in Mombasa, or the principal is sick, suffering from an airborne disease, cannot come to school, because if he comes to school, he's going to spread the disease to over 1,000 students. And when this happens, our health facilities around that school will be strained, and the government will spend a lot of money in bringing that disease to control, simply because of one person, the principal. So the principal will still be able to stay at home, but be able to work, manage the school, monitor the attendance, monitor the classes. So this will be visible to the principal, this will be visible to the parent, this will be visible to the sub-county director of education, this will be visible to the county director of education, this will be visible to the Ministry of Education, this will be visible to the TSC to the TSC secretariat, this will be visible to the sponsor. Now, if this attendance is not marked, the thing is the teacher is not at school. And because the teacher knows there are so many people looking at him, looking at the teacher, he must ask for permission from the principal. As opposed nowadays, when in the morning the school has started, the principal is making his normal rounds, and he stamps into 2 classes that do not have teachers. If he tries to call the 2 teachers, Nemteja. The student goes untaught because the principal was not prepared for this. Students are losing learning hours. So this is how the register works. Is a very beautiful tool. We don't have this kind of tool in Kenya. We don't have this kind of tool in Africa. So also, what can the teachers see? What can the teachers see when you come here or you come to the school management? We can also, the parent will also see the assignments. The teacher has not given any assignment. There's no due date. There's no score for the student. If the score is here, the parent, the teacher, or the parent will be able to see, and this is visible to everybody. Now we go back again to the dashboard. Here, we can also track discipline and see. Yes, look at this student. This student, we have 5 students here with disciplinary issues. Number 1 in Rose Njeri in my class. And these are the description of the discipline issues on the records. Unnecessary movement when lesson is in progress. This was major warning given. This was done on February 8th. Angel, the TNO. The teacher is this, was late to class and then started making noise in class. This was minor, warning given. This was on February 10th. Mary Njoki, we have making noise in class, minor. The student was corrected and promised not to make noise in class like that. It goes like, now I've got incidences when I was a student where nowadays I'm told the principals cannot expel the students from school without the permission from the Ministry of Education. Long time ago, the principal used to expel the student or they would suspend the student. Now, I had an incident where the student in my school was from the so-called the so-called well-connected families, where if he's expelled from school or punished, he will just, those days they were not mobile numbers, mobile telephone numbers. He'll just go home and then inform the parent that he has been sent away from home, he's not at school. And then the parent will take a form and call the ministry headquarters or call the TSC and will have the teacher being transferred or the principal being disciplined, because maybe the principal does not have evidence of the action that the student has taken. That will be no more. Principal will not be victimized. So taking corrective measures against a student as per the law, the teacher will not be victimized because there will be evidence. There will be evidence. When you come here on this register, and the principal will be pulling it online. You come here on school management, and then you click on discipline. So this is just from one teacher. The same student from 5 other teachers. And the principal will be safe. We will not have such kind of incidences happening. Now, at this particular point, I know Madam Betty Kobe is just about to come back. I don't know whether she's back. Is Madam Betty Kobe back? She's just about to come back. I was timing. At this particular point, I would like to invite James to show us how to log in as a parent.
James he has dropped off. He had an exam, so he has dropped off to go for.
Oh, he has dropped off. So
I've seen Nyabinda has also dropped off. We are doing. We have 12 minutes to 10, and we were supposed to wind up. We are 12 minutes to 10, and we were supposed to wind up by 9:30.
Okay, so can you find out from Madam Betty if she can just come in for a few minutes and then we end?
I can see she's still logged in. Madam Betty, are you there?
No, you can text her, or you can talk to her or call her. because his class was supposed to end at 1:53. It is 1:48, just 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Just call her if she's able to come back and maybe make a few minutes presentation, and then we end. As we wait for Madam Betty, let me now see some principals still logged in, show you how to log in as a policymaker. So I'll come here. Oh, we have to continue with this for the sake of recording before we end. So I'll sign out. And after signing out, I'll come in as a policymaker and show you how the dashboard looks like. I'm looking for my login credentials as a policymaker. Yes, I'm going to KDA, oh, this one here, so that I get my login credentials as a policymaker. That's as a parent. Yeah, as a policymaker, policy@gmail.com, and this is the password. So I'll go back now here. So my username is now policy. Like that, I replace my password like that, and then log in as a policymaker. This now at the TSC Secretariat, Sub-County Director of Education, County Director of Education. So this is a policymaker dashboard. Principals, I hope you can see. So this school called Nile Road Special School, this is how the total dashboard looks like. We have one school. We are at 87 students in total. We have total lessons, 567, and 5 discipline cases. Now, principal who fake data. We are getting this data directly from attendance of the student. Here is a ghost school. There's no way they are going to have a ghost students or ghost schools, because the data is being submitted using the attendance. If there's no student attending a class, this data will not be there. This is how you see here in this particular school, the average attendance, it even shows the name of the school, Nile Road Special Secondary School, is 78% for students, and the percentage absent is 21. The Ministry of Education is seeing this. So let's say if this attendance falls below this threshold, let's say below 50%, the Ministry of Education will be concerned. What are the reasons? And are there any intervention measures the Ministry of Education can take? I have a school in my backyard where students don't come to school daily. Why? Because they go to work so that they can eat. It is common sense that you cannot come to school on an absence or on an empty stomach. So the student is justified to come to school for 3 days and go to work so that he can eat throughout the week. These students are for total orphans. They are the firstborn in their family, and they serve little ones that they're taking care of. Now, what kind of intervention measures can we ask the Ministry of Education to take in such a case, such a school, when that happens? We can ask the Ministry of Education to provide dinner to these students, if it's a day school, so that they go home after they have eaten dinner. This is one of the interventions that you can take using this particular dashboard. So when we are recording attendance and recording absence, we are not doing this to punish the principals. We are not doing this to punish the teachers. We are doing this so that we can show the policymakers the situation on the ground, if there's anything they can do to correct this. For example, in that school in my backyard, I don't want to name the school. We are working very hard with our development partners to provide dinner to all the 300 students in that school. Actually, there are 200 students in that school for the next 3 years. And when this happens, we're going to compare the performance when we are giving dinner to students and when they were not getting dinner. Is there any improvement? That is what this particular tool is all about. Lesson hours per subject. We also give you business studies, chemistry, and what have you. Physics has got 0.67 etc. These are the hours missed. How many learning hours did the student miss? Now, at the grade level, we are also having this. How many were absent? How many were absent in Form 3? How many in Form 4? There was no absenteeism. The attendance, they had perfect attendance. In grade 10, there was perfect attendance. So we need to recognize the class teachers for Form 4 and Form grade 10 for achieving what we call perfect attendance. But in Form 3, absenteeism is 21%. The principal can look at this. I call the Form 3 class teacher. What is the problem? Why is the rate of absenteeism in your class so high? Right now, the principals do not have a tool to protect this, especially in schools where we have 1,000 students, where we have 2,000 students. What about subject level comparison? We have mathematics having the percentage attendance 80%. That is very good for mathematics. That's an A. What about physics? 63. What about so it is mathematics and physics here that that teachers are not having perfect attendance. In the rest of the subjects, teachers are having perfect attendance. Principal, look at this. And keep the mathematics teacher or the HOD mathematics and the chemistry. What is the problem? Why are teachers missing classes? Why are students missing classes in this particular subject? Because we have empowered the principal to have a tool that will enable him to detect that. Right now, principals do not have a tool to support them. And when the principal is doing this, the Ministry of Education is seeing. The TS is also seeing. And we'll create another comment here where the principal will be making comments. Okay, call the HOD mass, discuss the rate of absenteeism in class, and we agreed as follows. 1, 2, 3. This is in term 1. In term 3, when the year is ending, the principal will check again. They are saying, okay, I don't know whether
Madam
Madam
Betty
is back.
it's like she's still in class. And Mr. Nyabinda, I think, he's gone to class.
Has also gone to class. Okay, let us have questions and reactions from our principal here for Bromba, Mr. David Papa, and we can also have reaction from Mr. Thomas Amakobe, all the way from Ambira High School, with the hope that Madam Betty Ikobe will be done with the class and will come back to do her part of presentation for the sake of recording, because we're going to share these recordings with members of the public. So I want also us to note that although we have gone beyond the time, but the meeting also started late. We started, instead of 7:30, we started 8. So we are still within the time limit. And maybe I'll ask the administrators of this particular initiative to identify days that are convenient to schools, to principals, to teachers, so that we can offer the presentation when they are not engaged with other activities. And that's the main reason why we do it over the weekend. And again, when we do it over the weekend, teachers saying that these are not my official day to work. So it's a little bit tricky for us. Like me now, it's going to 2 a.m., I'm still awake. So it should be a sacrifice on both sides, on both ends. Okay. Mr. David Papa, please, all the way from Bosia. Can you hear me? David Papa? Mr. David Papa? Maybe he's also engaged elsewhere in school activities. Maybe he'll watch the recordings. Mr. Thomas Amakobe, all the way from Ambira High School in Central Nyanza. Mr. Thomas Amakobe. Okay, at this particular point, yes, please. What
I'm
are your
able to hear you.
takeaways? Yeah, what are your takeaways? And what has from this presentation? And what can you tell us? And please remember, we're going to share these recordings with members of the public. So you'll be doing it for the sake of other schools that will watch the recording. And I will appreciate if you can put on your image or your video before you make your remarks, please. And also introduce yourself. Yes, introduce yourself.
My name,
As one of your trainees, please also share your experience. Do you find this tool useful, relevant to solve the issues at Ambira High School? Or yeah, something like that. Okay, please take it away.
thank you so much. My name's Amakobe Thomas, a teacher at Ambira High School. I teach math and business study. And today's presentation, I found that the tool is very much effective. And I've realized that it will reduce the paperwork, and also it will really help, especially on the registered lesson attendance, and also on the issue of discipline. It will really reduce the paperwork and also issue of filing here and there. Just by a click, you are able to get all information about the student, and also the parents are able to track the lessons for their children and also their discipline. So I find out that the system will really solve the issue. Most of the time in our institution, maybe a principal may take time to know when there is a chronic absenteeism of teachers or learners in class. So, but for this, just by a click, he can realize in advance and be able to solve the problem. So I really appreciate for the way the system is working, and I know it will really solve a lot of problem and mitigate a lot of problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this particular point, I'm being reminded this meeting needs to end, but for the sake of recording, thank you, Mr. Makobe. You can go back to class.